what I want to know from you is the pushback that you got on this article. What you've argued on the show tonight, I would say I can pretty much, I would say I can get with most of it, but you've gotten some serious pushback on it. Tell me about that and where people are disagreeing with you on the article.
Well, okay, the majority of people who disagree with me, the majority happen to be white, okay, which is interesting. Yeah. And now I've gotten far more people who agree with me who were black and Latino than the white people who disagreed with me. On Twitter, and you talked about it, Ben. I send my articles everywhere on Twitter because I don't even use it as like to converse. I just use it as a tool to send my writing. Yep. And so I send it to people, and if they write back, great, and we talk about it. And so Joy-Ann Reid, a lady whom I respect greatly, like I really, really do. She's a Hillary supporter. Okay, I still respect greatly. One of the reasons I respect her greatly is because she wrote a fantastic book, Fracture. Now, when you look at that book, and there's a Democracy Now! Interview with Joy-Ann Reid. Mm-hmm. In the interview, she said that Hillary is a neocon. If I were to say that, if anybody were to say, oh, it's right, she said, and that also coincides with two major leading historians in the New York Times. So I basically, I guess I'm getting off to a tangent, but she disagreed with me on Twitter, and it was very civil. It was very civil between she was saying some things and I was saying, but it was very, very civil. And then everybody else called me the spawn of Satan, and they hated me, and it was just a complete the usual. Okay, so I'm this bad, but all that stuff. And
go ahead.
And so, but I noticed something. There was nobody addressed the fact that I quoted Dr. King's Beyond Vietnam speech in 1967. And in that speech, he talks about how a militarized, warlike society is actually the worst thing for impoverished people, and the worst thing for black people, and the worst thing for minorities, and the worst thing for the country in the long term.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The thing that drives me is, in part, the ideals in that speech, but also, in part, what Joy-Ann Reid talked about, which was, and I put that in the article, when you are accepting the fact that a liberal is a neocon,
right,
that's it, you're done. The Democratic Party's done. Okay, yep. Because when you accept, well, what's next? You accept the fact that a liberal is a racist? Or what's next? Because you already have foreign policy and Republicans and Democrats on foreign policy almost together. There's hardly any pushback that Clinton is a neocon. There's just now pushback that Clinton took money from prison lobbyists, that she said black youth were super predators and all that stuff. So that's my point. My point is when you are able to completely redefine what it is to be a progressive, that's dangerous, especially if you do things that aren't progressive in terms of ideals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, somebody from our one of our chat rooms just said, hang on, I think I saw the same one my producer just sent, basically said that the argument that you're making here, right, what you're saying to us is reasonable, but the headline that says that Hillary Clinton, that Bernie Sanders earned his success and Hillary embodies white privilege, and that's pretty much a loaded headline, right? So, and I understand it's a great headline. Let's be real, it's a great headline.
Okay, let me say this about the headline. Okay, I believe Hillary Clinton embodies white privilege because she's able to have 67% of Americans distrust her and still run for president. She's able to go ahead and have an FBI investigation and still run for president. That could never have happened with a person of color, ever, 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 ever. Okay? The second part is Bernie Sanders earned more of his success than Hillary Clinton. I stand by that. It's true.
Okay, explain that.
He didn't marry a president. He didn't marry a president.
Well, I would argue now. Listen, I'm not a Clinton apologist by any means, right? I know she benefits from white privilege, but I would say she was the more powerful in the couple in the whole time. I think Bill is just
that could. Hey, listen, that could be true. That could be true. And in fact, it probably is true. But a president himself is also. I mean, we've had how many? We've had 43 white presidents, 1 black president. Mm-hmm. So even in that, there's an element of white privilege or an element of that issue there. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just in terms of the origin of how she became powerful, what I'm saying is Bernie Sanders is a democratic socialist. That is not a recipe to be big in politics in America. Okay, that's not something that gets you popularity. He's had to work to educate people and say, hey, I'm not George W. Bush who nationalized banks, which is what people don't forget.
Listen, let me ask you this. Don't you think that that is, we can talk about Hillary's privilege, we will, but don't you think that that's more product of, because Bernie's white, right? So he's not benefiting, this is not like white privilege being used against Bernie Sanders as much as it is the political power, the political privilege, the economic privilege, you know, the power of $100 million that you make in 16 years since you leave the White House. Wouldn't you say that a more apt a comparison would be the economic and the political privilege that they have?
Well, okay, so
I'm playing the devil's advocate here.
So but I don't understand exactly what's the overall point that you're making right now? That the devil's advocate point?
What do you mean? What are you talking about? What's my point is my point.
No. I was actually reading something on the screen. I didn't hear you exactly. I'm sorry.
Dude, you crossed me on my own show. No,
not at all. No. I didn't hear you because I was reading something.
No problem.
I love you, Ben.
Oh, hey, man. Hey, I thought you did.
No, I do.
The point is, I think that the headline would have been more accurate if you said Hillary Clinton benefits from political economic privilege that Bernie Sanders doesn't. Hillary Clinton's success is contributed to, can be attributed to, rather, her political and her economic privilege over and above Bernie Sanders. Now, if you compare it, if the comparison is Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama, then I think it's a more apt analogy to say that she benefits more from white privilege.
Well, look, I mean, in terms of, that's true, and I agree with you on that. But I never said that. In the article, actually, the beginning of the article, I actually praised Clinton more than actually most Hillary supporters. I say that, you know, she has leadership skills, she's done a lot of things, and all that, and I agree with you on that. My overall point, though, and maybe the title, you know, could be, I guess. You know, there's only so many words you can put in the title, so you know, I think that the accuracy is there. I would say that she's benefited more from white privilege than Bernie. I think that Bernie has worked harder, and so whereas I never meant to say, and believe me, in the article, Ben, I do everything possible to say, hey, she's earned a lot, but a lot of the shield that she has is because she's white. And then people, and I'll say this, I'm white and I'm liberal, but I'm probably to the left of a lot of people who huh?
You're white?
Yeah.
I thought you were Hispanic.
No.
I gotta eject you out of my room. No, I'm joking, man. I'm sorry. I'm just being
so my whole thing is a lot of people, especially white people, when they hear that, and they're Hillary supporters, and when they hear that Hillary Clinton benefited from white privilege,
their mind.
It blows their mind. Yeah. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Now, that's and that part, I was going to say this, and I'm going to leave you alone. I just, because you and I keep it real. You know, some of the stuff you write, I agree with you 100%, and some of the stuff I'd be like, AJ, what the hell are you talking about? But I wanted to say this about your article. Your article did something that I don't know, maybe you meant for it to do this. Your article exposed how many white progressives that love Hillary that do not believe she benefited from white privilege, in addition to some black folks who are caping for her, saying that she didn't benefit from white privilege.
But Ben, those white progressives don't care that she took money from prison lobbyists.
Right.
They don't care at all. They don't care that she decimated the black community in many ways. They don't care at all.
Right.
At all. And let me tell you, they also don't care about foreign policy in terms of her being a neocon. They don't care at all. And so the thing is, there's a lot of people who hate me. Some people really like me. A lot of people hate me. The people who hate me only engage in ad hominem attacks, never address my argument ever. And if they do, they say, so what? So a lot of times I don't even bother with Twitter anymore, because if I go to people, I say, hey, Clinton accepted money from prison lobbyists. She gave it to charity.
All right, let's
And
do
then,
this. I've been running my mouth. I want to ask. I want to get Niz on this. Niz, and we also have been joined by Anoa because I'm running on fumes tonight. I've called in backup, so there might be 10 other people joining because I'm really running low on gas tonight. But I want to get their input on it, and then we want to shift gears and talk about the Black Lives Matter video from last night. So Niz, what's your feedback? What's your take? What do you got?